What's up guys, Digger here from ProNDC. Welcome to another ESO build video. So today I have the Magicka Nightblade PVE update for the Clockwork City DLC for you. This build is essentially the same as last patch, with some minor changes to champion points and stuff like that. Basically I want to give you some more tips on certain situations, like you might want to change your buff food, you might want to switch up some gear a little bit and run something different, and I want to make you aware that you probably will not be able to run the same setup in every situation, because you will encounter issues with sustain and stuff like that. Anyway, I hope I can make this a little bit shorter. Let's have a look at the stats first. So this is currently with the Lovermunder Stone. With the CP setup that I have now, you want to run the Apprentice. However, because I also run this in a new trial, I choose the Lover over Apprentice, because whenever I change the Magicka character, we don't have a Samuel Templar in the group, and the lack of penetration, like you can feel the lack of penetration, so I decided to go with the Lover instead of the Apprentice. I also currently have max health and max Magicka food, that's why I'm sitting at 18.6k health, and like 19.1k on the back bar, and around like 44k max Magicka. Here, with 800 recovery and 53.6k spell crit. If you have the Apprentice, you'd be sitting at, I think, like 2.6k spell damage unbuffed. But yeah, regular values. Let's get to gear. So as a basic monster set, we always run Julianos. You could of course run different monster sets. For this patch I haven't tried out Burning Spellweave, because I always stick to the Lightning Staff on the back bar. I tried out Burning Spellweave and uptimes were fine when I used double Inferno. However, I didn't play a lot of Magicka Nightblade last patch, and if you run Burning Spellweave, you might have some sustain issues, and then doing heavy attacks with an Inferno Staff could cause some problems. Or to put it that way, I ran into some sustain issues because I screwed up the rotation, because I'm not playing Magicka Nightblade as much as I used to in the past, and that's why I got into sustain issues. It's not the fault of Burning Spellweave. I think I got that wrong in the last sentence. So Julianos is probably the easiest one to get and will give you the most consistent results. So I recommend to go with Julianos, because you can craft it, as you can see. Yeah, crafted by Mrs. Robinson. And I wear a medium chest here because I only have heavy shoulders and a light Divine's helmet, but I have all Divines, so that's fine. We wear Moondancer with it, all spell damage, and a Moondancer Inferno Staff infused. Fused will probably still give you the best single target damage. However, precise is not too bad too, because Magicka Nightblade, or Nightblades in general, get 10% more crit damage. It's actually pretty good. If you run max health and max Magicka food, you also have the option, of course, to go with a Lambris instead. But I have to wear a light robe, so I have a medium Lambris head and heavy shoulders. Yes, the best way, of course, because someone asked, if you wear Julianos, you can go light on the monster sets and go heavy here and medium on the legs. Heavy chest, medium legs. That will give you the best armor values, but the difference is so small. It's like 9.7k, and I don't really bother. On top of that, like, if you go all light on the body pieces, you can pick armor that looks cooler, in my opinion. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So you could go with Alambris. It will give you a little bit more damage than Valkynscoria. And yeah, you'd probably need to run Force Pulse to actually like proc Alambris enough. And might even like switch out the glyph. I would not always run Alambris. I would probably only use Alambris if I had the new Astalung Centaurian Inferno Staff. Let's see if I can show it to you. Perfected one, Restoration Staff, Lightning Staff. So this is the one that I use for my Sorg. I do not recommend to go with 2 Lightning Staves on the Magicka Nightblade. Go with the Inferno one, otherwise you'll lose too much DPS. So you can see like every second cast of Force Shock. Doesn't matter if you run the Crushing Shock enchantment or the Force Pulse morph, or the Force Pulse morph. it will always proc, and every second one will cause the enemy to be affected by concussion, chilled, and burning status effects. So you get you buff your team's DPS, you buff your own DPS, and the extra status effects add some more damage than the 129 spell damage. However, there are enemies that cannot be affected by certain buffs and debuffs. For example, the Lightning Storm Atro or the Foundation Storm Atro, Rakotu and Helra. Rakotu, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Rakotu can be affected by concussion, but Lightning Storm Atro and Foundation Storm Atro in the Ethereum Archive cannot be affected, so you can also not set them off balance. I would not run the perfected Inferno stuff in Ethereum Archive. I'd still stick to Moon Dancer, because if you have two Moon Dancer staves, you can like retrade them to Infused and put a prismatic glyph there. Let's see. For the prismatic glyph, I think I have it on Night Mother's Gaze and my Hunting's Rage. Here. Deals 8.8k magic damage to Undead and Daedra. In Ethereum Archive, on the two Atros, on Rakotu and on Rakat, this glyph will probably deal like 6k plus DPS. Only that glyph alone. Because it will proc it a lot, trust me, and it will deal a lot of damage. It also gets affected by your champion points, so that's pretty cool. In all the other fights, the new perfected Asylum Tutorium stuff will probably give you a little bit more DPS. And with the new Asylum Tutorium stuff, I'd also run a flame damage enchantment on the front bar, not a shock damage one. And then I'd also run Alambris, but it depends on the fight. You might have sustain issues in certain trials if you run Alambris with the new stuff with the Force Pulse rotation. That's why I still stick to Moon Dancer, and I also don't have the new staff. If you run the new staff, you might also want to run Willpower. I haven't spoken to Hamrami yet and asked her if she did compare Willpower to Moon Dancer or Infel. I will link a DPS test of her in the video description, because she did 46.7k or so, or 46.6k on her Magicka Nightblade self-buffed with the new stuff, but she used Willpower and Alambris with max health and max magical food. Yeah. On the back bar, still same old Maelstrom Lightning stuff. Now Infused. I recommend to always go Infused, because you bar swap a lot if you do the rotation correctly, and you will proc this enchantment quite a bit to get like a 66 to 70+% uptime on the glyph, which is really nice and important for you to get more DPS. Yeah. So if you don't have Moon Dancer, you could, like I said, go with Willpower and you run 2 random staves. Or if you have Moon Dancer but not a Moon Dancer staff, you can run 1 Moon Dancer piece on the body, get 2 Julianos staves, and run it that way. Or you can replace Moon Dancer with, like I said, Infel Breather. Same 4-piece and 3-piece bonus, but gets you spell crit instead of max Magicka. Or you can replace it with Master Architect from VHoff, Halls of Fabrication, same set bonus as Moon Dancer. That's basically your options. I personally still stick to Vulcan. Where's Julianos? Because I get a little bit more health, and I don't need to switch my monster set around all the time. And I can also like then go to Witch Mother's Potent Brew and not have like too low of HP. You could go with, of course, with Alambris here too with Witch Mothers, but you'd be sitting at 15k HP. That's like really low. Not recommend doing that. Yeah, so Berserker enchantment here, shock damage enchantment here if we don't use the new Asylum Tutorium stuff, and I think that's pretty much it for gear. You could also run a Rhineth if you run Force Pulse, but just stick with Vulcan. It will have more procs and will probably give you a little bit more DPS anyway. For skills, like I said, currently running Swell Soul because of sustain stuff, you could go with Force Pulse. If you run Witch Mothers, should be able to sustain it just as well. I decided to go with this bar setup because I don't have to switch my bars. If I switch Force Pulse with Swallow Soul or Funnel Health, it doesn't matter what morph you use. And here also it doesn't matter what morph you use. Then we have Merciless Resolve. I will get to that in a second again, trying to explain how to get 3 procs out of the Merciless Resolve all the time, depending on the trial, of course. Because in the new trial, in the Sun Santorium, if you don't do the super hard mode, we have all the bosses, or even like in the super hard mode, your targets will port and teleport around a lot, and you will miss a lot of light attacks, and you won't be able to get 3 consistent procs all the time. Maybe on the main boss, but not on the mini bosses. It's just hard. Maybe I'm just too stupid. I have to admit, I'm not a really good Magicka Nightblade player. I'm decentish, but yeah, just not like really good with this class. Siphoning attacks here for sustain, of course. Then we have Impale. We also have siphoning attacks for the passive. Increases your max Magicka by 8% while siphoning ability is slotted. And then we have Impale here. Inner Light and Fiery Rage. Then we have here Blockade of Storms, Crippling Grasp, and Twisting Path, and an Inner Light here too. And then we have Elemental Drain and Soul Harvest, of course, done also for the passives of Assassination. Where is it? Hemorrhage, yeah. Here increases your critical damage done by 10% with an Assassination ability slot. So we have this on the back bar. And we have these 2 here on the front bar. And of course, Elemental Drain, I don't run that. That's actually a mistake. It's only for the DPS test. I usually have Harness Magicka. And as I said, you can change your spammable, but you will probably need to go to Witch Mother's Potent Brew, because Swallow Soul 1.7k and Force Pulse 2.4k. So you will feel the issues with sustain. For champion points, as I said, this is for the Apprentice Motherstone. So if you have the Apprentice Motherstone, I currently run this setup. So I have 44 into Spell Erosion, 14 into Elfborn, 37 into Elemental Expert, 28 into Mastered Arms, and 81 to Thaumaturge to hit that jump point. I used to run 75 points here, but you waste some points, and you also deal quite a bit of damage over time, so I decided to go to 81 here. That's for the blue tree. It's basically the important tree. For the red tree, 61 Ironclad, 12 Spell Sheet, 49, 49, 40, same old, and 90 into Quick Recovery. Currently have 34 into Warlord, 43 into Arcanist, 75 Tenacity, 34 Tumbling, and 44 Shadow Ward. So much for the champion points. If you run the Lover, let me do the math first. So we have 100 points into... I have my calculator here, by the way. 100 points in... 100 points... Oh, I'm sorry. We have 100 base penetration plus 4884 of concentration passive from the light armor plus 5280 from Major Fracture, Major Breach. So that's 10k. And then we add to that from the new trial, like in the new trial, our tanks were Torque's Pact Infused Crushers, and the Infused Crushers, which they can keep up at least like 80% of the time, they get 2740 extra penetration. Now for the new Mundustone, for the Lover Mundustone, we get another 4.2k penetration, and then it depends. Do we have a Stamina Templar with Power of the Light in a group? Yes or no? If we do have one, we don't need any points into Spell Erosion, to be honest, if we run with a Lover. If we don't, we need to adjust champion points and go down to 12 or 13. Wouldn't recommend to go more than 14 points. Like you get 1.3k. That's actually already too much. You don't, it depends. Really, it depends really. Then you can just distribute the points. Summon the Elfborn, Elemental Expert. Just try to hit the jump points. Cancel redistribution. So, but this is the regular setup that I run. Now back to rotation stuff. So what we want to achieve, of course, is to get 3 Merciless Resolve procs, or like Spectral Bow procs, and shoot them. So what we do is we swap bars more often. You have to see, like you can see, like my Merciless Resolve here, there's a 0 in brackets, and that indicates how many times I've hit my target with light attacks. You can see that I have 4 here, I have 5 now, and I can shoot the Spectral Bow. That's basically how it works. But most of you should know that. So what we try to do is get 3 of these Spectral Bows out before we have to recast it. So we always have to watch this number here in brackets, and basically whenever you're on the back bar and you see that it's at 4, you light attack, do one of your dots, switch to the bar, shoot it, and then go back and recast it. Will give you more damage. And we'll also make sure that yeah, you will get more damage than from that than letting your dot run out. If you manage to do it perfectly, you won't let your dots run out that way. But yeah, let's try just to show it to you. So do light attack, okay, light attack triple, light attack twisting. So I just barely made the 3rd one. I think it's a little bit harder to do it with Swallow Soul compared to Force Pulse. But what you saw, like I hope you saw what I did. Basically, I will just show it to you. I will just like do 4 light attacks. And now I don't do a 5th light attack and do my Swallow Soul. I will just do 1 more light attack and instantly press the Merciless Resolve button. So I don't waste the light attack. That's the important thing. That's what you have to do to practice. And I've been practicing this quite a bit. I still screw it up sometimes in DPS tests, but that's basically what you have to do. So again, let's try to show Force Pulse. I'm gonna just put this on the back bar so then don't run out of resources. So light attack, okay, light attack triple, light attack path, light attack, and immediately shoot the Spectral Bow again. Now you can see that I still had some more seconds left. I think like attempting a 4th proc is not possible. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure if it's actually manageable, but you will need to swap bars more. You saw that there's one flaw basically in my rotation, that my dots ran out at some point, which you don't want to happen. I need to practice that a little bit more myself. And basically try to get the Spectral Bow and instantly like bar swap again and then recast my Merciless Resolve. That way it will be easier, but you have to see how many procs you had, or how many hits you had on your Merciless Resolve. I'm not sure if you can see that on the console. I honestly don't know. Anyway, basically that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to show you. Oh no, basically I showed you everything. So what you do, of course, is not try to overcast Twisting Path all the time. Try to basically let it run out and swap your bars when it's about to run out. Normally, like after I cast these 2 dots, I go to the front bar, do 2 attacks again, swap bars, and then recast Twisting Path by itself. I've seen other players on PC and A that like swap bars after every dot. So basically they put down the blockade, light attack blockade, bar swap again, and then do that thing on the front bar, light attack, crippling grasp, and bar swap again. So to make sure that they really do not waste light attack. I think with my way it's a little bit more easy, or a little bit easier for beginners. But yeah, you need to practice that a lot. You might not even get that down in trials, but it's kind of easy on the target skeleton, but you will need to practice that a lot in trials. Anyway, guys, that's it from my part. I will include a DPS test. I hope I recorded it in the end of the video in a couple seconds. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you don't want to miss any more ESO content, make sure to hit that sub button. And if you have any more questions, put them in the comment section. I gladly answer them. And that's pretty much it for today. So I hope you tune in next time as well. So until then, bye bye.